Right now, as you sit here watching this, something extraordinary is happening inside your body, something most people never notice, never think about, and never truly understand. It's not just burning calories or processing your last meal. Beneath the surface, at a level far too small to see, your body is performing a quiet, relentless act of survival. Your cells are dismantling damaged components, breaking down faulty proteins, and recycling what no longer serves you. They are turning cellular waste into usable energy, restoring balance in ways that feel almost unreal. This isn't a metaphor. It's not a dramatic exaggeration. It's a real, biological process happening right now, inside you. And here's the part that should make you pause. For years, without even realizing it, you may have been interrupting this process every single day. Not intentionally, not out of neglect, but simply through habits that seem completely normal. Habits that, over time, quietly shut down one of the most powerful repair systems your body has ever evolved. Think about the rhythm of a typical day. Breakfast in the morning, lunch in the afternoon, dinner in the evening, maybe a snack before bed, maybe something quick between meals. It all feels normal, healthy, even. But what most people don't realize is that every time you eat, you're triggering a powerful internal signal, a signal that tells your body to stop repairing and start building. In that moment, your system shifts priorities. Energy is redirected, growth is activated, and the deep, cellular cleanup process you didn't even know was happening gets pushed aside. It doesn't slow down, gradual, it shuts off almost instantly. One bite, one sip, one small snack is enough to flip the switch, and over time, with constant eating and no real pause, your body rarely gets the chance to fully reset, repair, and restore itself the way it was designed to. This process has a name: autophagy. The word comes from Greek, meaning self-eating, but the reality behind it is far more sophisticated than it sounds. Autophagy isn't a sign of damage or dysfunction, it's a highly evolved survival mechanism built into your biology. It's how your body cleans out what's broken, recycles what's usable, and maintains the health of your cells over time. Scientists have studied this process for decades, and its importance became so clear that it was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 2016. What they discovered changed how we understand aging, disease, and cellular health. Autophagy isn't just maintenance, it's protection. It plays a role in longevity, metabolic balance, and even neurological health. In many ways, it's one of the most powerful systems your body has to keep itself functioning at its best, quietly working in the background. As long as you give it the chance to run, imagine your body as a vast, living city, one that never truly sleeps. Inside it are billions of structures, each one performing a specific role, working together in perfect coordination. There's constant movement, constant construction, constant growth. New materials come in, energy gets distributed, systems expand and evolve. But like any city, this one produces waste. Machinery wears down, buildings become unstable, debris accumulates in places you can't see. Now here's the problem. If this city never slows down, if it never pauses long enough to clean, those damaged parts don't simply disappear. They begin to pile up. Slowly at first, almost unnoticeable. Then gradually, they spread, interfering with the systems around them. Over time, what was once a well-functioning environment starts to lose efficiency. Processes break down, signals get disrupted, and eventually, the very systems that once supported growth begin to struggle under the weight of accumulated damage. Growth without cleanup doesn't create strength, it creates instability. Now imagine that somewhere within this city, there's a specialized cleanup crew, highly efficient, precisely coordinated, and essential for keeping everything running smoothly. But here's the catch. They don't operate all the time. They don't step in when resources are flowing freely or when activity is at its peak. In fact, they remain almost completely inactive during those periods. This crew only comes to life under very specific conditions: when the noise dies down, when incoming supply slows, when the system recognizes that it's no longer in a state of abundance. That's when the signal is sent. Quietly, almost invisibly, the message spreads: repair what's broken, recycle what's damaged, conserve what remains. This is not a reaction to weakness, it's a strategic response built into your biology. A shift from expansion to maintenance, from growth to survival. And it only happens when your body senses that it's finally time to clean. At the microscopic level, This cleanup process is both precise and remarkably efficient. Inside your cells, specialized structures begin to form tiny, membrane-bound sacs that function like biological garbage bags. They move through the cell, identifying components that have been damaged, misfolded, or no longer functioning properly. Once located, these structures wrap around the cellular debris, enclosing it completely. But the process doesn't stop there. These sealed bags then merge with another structure inside the selenocytic compartment, filled with powerful enzymes. Within this environment, everything is broken down into its most basic building blocks. Proteins are reduced to amino acids. Damaged parts are converted into usable energy. What was once waste becomes raw material. Nothing is discarded. Nothing is ignored. Every element is repurposed with efficiency that modern engineering can barely replicate. It's a closed-loop system of renewal that allows your cells to maintain balance, adapt to stress, and continue functioning at a high level without relying on constant external input. At the center of this entire process is a powerful control system known as mTOR, short for mechanistic target of rapamycin. Think of it as your body's master switch, constantly deciding whether you should be building or repairing. When mTOR is active, your body shifts into growth mode. It focuses on building new proteins, supporting muscle development, and processing incoming nutrients. But there's a trade-off. When this system is turned on, autophagy, deep cellular cleanup processes, effectively shut down. And what triggers mTOR more than anything else? Food. Especially foods rich in protein and carbohydrates. Each time you eat, particularly meals high in amino acids or that spike insulin, you're signaling your body to prioritize growth over repair. It's not a gradual shift, it's immediate. In that moment, your biology makes a clear decision. Build now, clean later. After you eat, your body enters a state focused entirely on digestion and absorption. Nutrients flood your system. Insulin levels rise to manage blood sugar. Growth signals remain elevated as your body distributes energy and begins building new structures. During this time, autophagy remains largely inactive. Hours pass, and gradually, those signals begin to decline. Around the 1-2 hour mark, insulin levels drop significantly, and your body starts transitioning into a different metabolic state. Fat stores begin to play a larger role, and early signs of cellular cleanup may start to appear. But this is only the beginning. Meaningful, measurable activation of autophagy doesn't typically occur until much later, somewhere between 18 and 24 hours of fasting. That's when the shift becomes more pronounced. The body moves beyond simple energy management and begins engaging in deeper repair processes. It's not instant, and it's not triggered by short gaps between meals. It requires real time for your biology to fully change states. In recent years, the 1-6-hour fasting approach, often called intermittent fasting, has become widely popular. And to be clear, it does offer benefits. It can improve metabolic health, support weight management, and help regulate insulin levels. But when it comes to autophagy, the story is more complex. For many people, especially those consuming high amounts of protein or carbohydrates during their eating window, or those with reduced insulin sensitivity, a 1-6-hour fast may only produce minimal activation of the deeper cellular repair processes. It's not that it doesn't work, it's that it may not go far enough. The idea that 16 hours reliably triggers significant autophagy has been oversimplified. In reality, it often just begins the process, without fully engaging the level of repair that many assume is happening. This is where the conversation becomes personal, because autophagy doesn't activate the same way for everyone. Your body's ability to switch into repair mode depends heavily on something called metabolic flexibility, your capacity to shift between using glucose and fat as fuel. If your system is heavily reliant on sugar, if insulin levels remain elevated for long periods, your body resists that transition. It holds on to the growth state longer, delaying the signals needed to begin cellular cleanup. In that state, even extended periods without food may not produce the level of repair you expect. But when your metabolism is more flexible, the transition becomes smoother, faster, more responsive. Autophagy begins earlier, activates more effectively, and operates with greater efficiency. It's not just about how long you fast, it's about how prepared your body is to make the switch when the time comes. And this leads to a paradox that's difficult to ignore. The very individuals who stand to benefit the most from autophagy, those dealing with metabolic stress, higher levels of cellular damage, or long-term imbalances, are often the ones whose bodies struggle the most to activate it. Their systems are less responsive, more resistant to change, and slower to transition out of constant growth mode. It's an uncomfortable reality. The people who need repair the most may have the hardest time accessing it, not because the mechanism isn't there, but because their biology has been conditioned, over time, to prioritize constant energy intake over restoration. For years, most of the conversation around fasting and autophagy has focused almost entirely on time, how many hours you go without food, when you start, when you stop. But that perspective misses something far more fundamental. Your body doesn't truly respond to the clock. It responds to energy. What matters most is not just how long you've gone without eating, but the internal state your body reaches during that time. If energy availability remains relatively high, the signals for repair stay muted. But when energy drops low enough, when your cells sense a genuine need to conserve, adapt, and restore, that's when deeper processes begin to activate. Time is only a proxy. The real trigger is the shift in your body's energy balance, a shift that determines whether you remain in growth mode or finally move into repair. When your body's available energy drops to a certain threshold, a critical internal sensor begins to activate AMPK, short for adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase. You can think of AMPK as your cell's fuel gauge, constantly monitoring how much energy is left and deciding how your body should respond. When energy is abundant, growth pathways remain active, and repair processes stay in the background. But when energy becomes scarce, AMPK flips the script. It suppresses growth signals, including mTOR, and shifts your system into conservation and repair mode. This is the point where autophagy begins to accelerate. It's not triggered by willpower or intention, it's a direct response to your internal energy state. Once AMPK is activated, your cells prioritize efficiency, recycling, and survival. It's a deeply intelligent system, designed to protect you during times of scarcity by restoring balance from within. Now here's where the science takes an unexpected turn. It's not just fasting that influences autophagy, it's what you do during that fast. Movement, even something as simple as a walk, can dramatically accelerate the process. When you move in a fasted state, your body burns through available energy more quickly, creating a sharper drop in cellular fuel levels. This accelerates the activation of AMPK, which in turn suppresses growth signals and enhances repair mechanisms. In practical terms, this means a shorter fast combined with physical activity may trigger more autophagy than a longer fast spent completely inactive. Your body isn't just measuring time, it's measuring demand. The more energy you expend, the faster your system shifts into a state where repair becomes essential. Movement doesn't just support the process, it amplifies it. What makes this process even more remarkable is that it doesn't stop at the body, it extends into the brain. Autophagy plays a critical role in maintaining neurological health by helping clear out toxic protein buildup, including the same aggregates associated with conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. Over time, these proteins can accumulate and interfere with normal brain function, but autophagy acts as a defense system, identifying and breaking them down before they cause lasting damage. When combined with quality sleep, which activates the brain's glymphatic system, responsible for flushing out waste through fluid movement, you create a powerful, dual-layer cleaning process. One works through cellular recycling, the other through physical drainage. Together, they form one of the most effective, natural protection systems your brain has. And the most striking part is this: both systems depend on something modern life often disrupts: periods of rest and periods without constant intake. Sleep and fasting may seem like separate habits, but together they form one of the most powerful repair systems your body has. While you sleep, your brain activates a specialized process that moves fluid through its tissues, flushing out waste and clearing harmful byproducts that build up during the day. At the same time, when you're not eating, your cells engage in autophagy, breaking down damaged components and recycling them for energy. One system cleans through physical flow, the other through cellular renewal. When both are functioning properly, they create a complete, coordinated cycle of restoration. It's not just about rest, it's about giving your body the conditions it needs to maintain itself at the deepest level. The challenge is that modern life rarely supports these conditions. We live in a culture built around constant consumption, meals spaced closely together, snacks in between, and late-night eating that extends far beyond what our biology evolved to handle. At the same time, sleep is often sacrificed, shortened, or disrupted by stress, screens, and irregular schedules. The result is a system that never fully shifts into repair mode. The body remains in a near-constant state of input and activity, with little opportunity to pause, reset, and restore. Over time, this pattern quietly suppresses the very processes designed to protect us. It's not a dramatic failure, it's a gradual one, shaped by habits that feel normal but steadily move us further away from how our bodies were meant to function. For years, the conversation around health has centered on a single question: what should we eat? We analyze nutrients, count calories, debate diets, and focus intensely on the quality and quantity of food. But the science of autophagy introduces a different perspective that shifts the focus entirely. It suggests that timing may be just as important as content, not just what you consume, but when you choose not to. The real question becomes less about constant input and more about intentional pause. When do you give your body space to repair? When do you allow it to transition out of growth mode and into restoration? This shift in thinking doesn't replace nutrition, it completes it, offering a more balanced understanding of how the body truly maintains health. Your body was never designed to repair itself in a state of constant intake. It wasn't built to clean, restore, and renew while it's continuously processing food. Instead, it evolved to do its deepest work in the spaces in between, the quiet gaps where energy is no longer coming in and the system finally has a reason to shift inward. In those moments, when the noise of constant consumption fades, your biology changes priorities. It stops building and starts repairing. It stops expanding and starts restoring balance. This is where real maintenance happens, not during abundance, but during absence, not during activity, but during stillness. And in a world where those gaps are becoming increasingly rare, understanding their importance may be one of the most valuable insights you can carry forward. Yoshinori Ohsumi, the scientist whose work on autophagy earned the Nobel Prize, once reflected on a simple but powerful realization. What struck him most was not just how effective this system is, but how easily it can be disrupted. Something as small, as routine, as a single bite of food is enough to shift your entire biology away from repair and back into growth. Every time you eat, you're sending a signal. A decision is made at the cellular level. Build or repair, expand or restore. But your body can't do both at once. That's the trade-off built into your design, and it leads to a question that's rarely asked, but deeply important. In a world where food is always available, always encouraged, and always within reach, how often do you truly give your body the chance to heal itself? If this perspective changed the way you think about your health, consider subscribing to Hidden Health Science, because what we explore next may reshape not just how you eat, but how you understand your body and how you choose to care for it in the long run.